Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning. Hope you guys had a good week without me. I sure missed you. But oh man, we have so much to talk about. But let's get into the setup for today first. It looks like overnight, it's been pretty steady buying. They are pushing the highs at the moment. Not quite what I expected. But I guess we're still in a really, really uncertain area. We'll see if they make a push up above 27.5 is right where it was that last swing. So let's see what happens here. What do we got here? Lucas says, my guess is we are trading higher until filling the gaps in bonds. Do you guys agree? Higher meaning, well, which gaps are you talking about? I do think there's still some risk in the market and people are going to want to buy. That's for sure. But I don't know. This whole situation right now, I think, is incredibly unclear and difficult to predict because, like, the Federal Reserve started acting dovish. The market is pricing in that there's going to be one or more rate uh, cuts this year, and meanwhile, the S&P 500 is intraday touching highs of the year. Sorry, but you're not going to cut rates if the S&P 500 is breaking new highs. They're not going to do it. So one of these things is ahead of itself, and I would tend to think that it's the S&P 500, but I don't know. Bonds are awfully high, guys. Between Friday and Sunday in ZB and UB. Okay, so I don't know. I kind of see what you're talking about, but now the other thing I'm seeing is I'm seeing the knob spread continues to steepen and the 2 and 10-year spreads flattening again, which is not a good thing. I think that I need to roll over, right? I don't think that I've rolled over some instruments. Yeah. Roll over. There we go. Cool. Come on, close. Now it's reloading. Okay. So I can see here the 6J is getting a little bit of a boost. And the E-mini charts looks a little bit better. I didn't transfer over my new indicators that I wrote while I was on vacation. I should do that. I should eat because there's no food here, and I had to make oatmeal, which takes me a little bit longer, so I haven't eaten. So let's. Oh, you know what else? We also got to look at what is on the news docket for this week. So the week of the 24th, nothing today. Tomorrow, consumer confidence, home share sales, Fed chair speaks, durable goods, G20 meetings on Thursday. Oh, that's a big deal. Okay. I forgot about that. Okay, so I think that markets may be a little bit bracketed here until after the G20. If things go well on trade at the G20, then it's going to change up. But and interesting that we take a step back there in the 10-year. Decent amount traded up there, but that's interesting. You feel ES is getting this wrong and is right for a huge fall, hence Treasuries anticipating, and that's why they are trading higher. I think that that's what's going on. Well, I mean, it's a much bigger time frame sort of a thing, right? Treasuries are expecting like 1 or 3 rate cuts. You can't rate cut if the S&P 500 is at all-time highs. You just can't. One of these is going to be proven wrong. Now, in the past, it's been the S&P 500, and I personally feel that a lot of the up move is unjustified. But you don't fight the trend. You know what I'm saying? Um, but it's kind of hard because on the other hand, even though I do think that treasuries have a reason to move up, I think they've moved too far. And that was before last week. They moved a little bit higher after the FOMC, but then they came back. I think that that's a really key turning point, a line in the sand that, for them to break out above 27.5 here right now, I think would be extremely unlikely on a Monday. You're more likely to get like either it just flat stops at 27.5 like it did, and I think it's very possible that we're going to bust through this 28 and then quickly run into heavy resistance and have trouble moving forward. Yeah. Uzi's talking about the organ thing. So I have some things to say about the organ thing. And also Joe Biden. Probably have to talk about Joe Biden first because we got the debates tomorrow. Which, by the way, I do plan on coming in and streaming. I won't be able to have the debate in my stream, so you're gonna have to connect to both and listen to them, and even though they're gonna be a little bit off sync, but we will still stream and have the line open and chat about it. So we have a way to chat, and we can record my live reaction for historical purposes, so I can go back and see, okay, what was I actually thinking during the debate? But I don't want it because it's a private debate. It's not a public one, so I'm not going to include their audio in their stream. That'll just get us shut down. Okay, so let me eat a little bit, and then we'll do that. I'm not planning on. I mean, I'll take some sim trades, but I'm not taking any serious trades today unless I see something super obvious. Let's see if they can get above 27.5 or not. Interesting. So they came down again, and that time you're seeing a little bit of iceberging at 27. So it looks like the the sellers are trying to hold it back, but I don't know. I want to see. I need to go and grab my indicator. I want to see something I've been noticing is I can see when a lot of orders are put in. I can't see that right now, and apparently that's something that's hard for me to see by eye. But like when they all start flickering, that's kind of like a good indication. Well, there you go. They're going to tick down again. And look, the E-mini is buying. See, this is where there's so this is where I think that there could be a problem because I don't think that either of these are going to want to move fundamentally until after the G20 talks. And so you could see the E-mini continue to push up, and if the E-mini pushes up, Treasuries are going to get killed, as they do. Probably a little bit more has to trade at 26, but they might just push all the way back to theirs, the 24. 26 is the open, so they're going to fight there a little bit too. Oh, I can see there's a Donald Trump tweet here I missed. Despite a Federal Reserve that doesn't know what it's doing, raised rates far too fast, very low inflation, other parts of the world slowing and lowering and easing, and did a large-scale tightening 50 billion a month, we are on course to have one of the best months of June in U.S. history. Think of what it could have been if the Fed had gotten it right. Thousands of points higher on the Dow and the GDP in the fours or even fives. Now they stick like a stubborn child when we need rate cuts and easing to make up for what other countries are doing against us. Blew it. Interesting. I think that the problem I have with what Donald Trump is saying is I think that he has a really good case that we shouldn't have raised in December. But it also sounds to me like that wouldn't have been enough. You know, if they had not raised in December and we were still where we were at, he would still be wanting cuts. And I don't know. This concept of changing what we do with rates based on what other country does with their rates has some real pitfalls to it. Like on one hand, I think it should be considered, but on the other hand, you really run the risk of overheating your economy if you do that. You know, if you just never raise and quite frankly, earlier on, they weren't raising when they should have because of this sort of a thing, and I think it really hurt. You know what I'm saying? Well, they did take 26 offer, but just kind of it looks balanced there for now. they're trying to uptick their 26.5. The guy made a bold move there, and sellers were able to hold it so far. Yeah, see that downtick there, 26 again, it seemed relatively significant to me. They tried at 26.5, couldn't do it. And now they're getting pushed down. And now 25.5 is pulling. No guarantee, but I don't think that looks good for bulls. Now, bulls are trying to do something like this is a pullback when we're just going to push higher because they've got a pretty good trend going this morning on the chart. Look at that. Maybe I should zoom out a little bit. Pretty good trend there going on the chart, right? But they might, I don't know, it looks like the sellers are trying to hold it back. All right, well, they took 25.5. Let's pull this back up. All right, so a couple of comments here that I missed. But Rosie's saying it's been rough in these bonds the last week. I managed to scrape by last week, but liquidity is shit, relatively speaking. Yeah. Well, you look at right now, we've got like some 38s on the DOM and stuff like that. My general rule is if I see 3, don't trade. We were having like really good action, but it was still turning into summer chop. I thought that if you were having some good moves and everything, that you could still trade it. And after a couple of, blowing up a few times and stuff like that, I think that you got to be really, really good at the mean reversion trade in that kind of a situation. I don't know. Prone to some short but quick moves out of nowhere, and then Lucas said, I've been struggling as well, Uzi. Sips whiskey. Yeah. I mean, I think that this is the point now where, unless the S&P 500 is like falling apart and I want to short that, I think it's better for me to stay on sim. Pinpoint fades was way much riskier. Yeah, although part of the thing is that anytime, what you're going to see in this kind of action is anytime things get excited, it reverses. which is tough trading because on one hand, it's like it can be a super crazy reliable signal in this kind of inaction. But you get in a small trade. If you're wrong, you're really wrong. And I forget what my third point was. I'm thinking, I think I'm sick. I think I need to go in. I don't feel icky. I don't feel like I don't feel anything in my gut right now. I just ate some oatmeal, and that was all I had for breakfast. I tried making some sausages, but I think that those are too old because they just tasted disgusting. But man, I just in my head feels a little, I don't know, woozy. Like I got plenty of sleep. No reason to feel sleepy. But I don't feel sleepy. I feel faint, and I think that is like I could have C. diff or something like that, which I'm prone to, and I'd be really mad if I got that again. But I think I might be sick. I better go and have a sample taken today. Let's see if I can get this. Let's see if the network shows up. Yes. $39 megabytes is too big. What is in there? 155.11 is Friday's high value in ZB tested and rejected so far. I wonder, do we have John's? No. Not yet. Be interested to see what John thinks about this. Because I think that his thing should say as long as we trade above a certain point that we're likely to go higher. But now if they get below this 06 here, that could be interesting in the bonds. I mean, so far they are trending lower. I don't know. Okay, that looks like that's done copying. So let's see now if I can bring it over. I think I just want these two level 2 ones. By the way, have you guys ever had a thing with NinjaTrader like not saving indicators into your workspace? And custom indicators. Paste. Replace. Okay. And I think I'll just add both of them to this big chart over here. I'll show you. So I'm going to put my level 2 change on twice. And this one is going to be big lots. And it's going to have, oh, think I need to open up. I don't think that it actually I don't think it actually compiled. Now let's try it. How does it do that? I hate that it like doesn't start in the center of the screen. Okay. Level 2 change. Now we got it. Okay, so this one is going to be big lots, and it is only going to show lots with 400 or more. And then I'm going to add this again. And this one is going to show everything smaller than that. That's a 400, not a 40. I get this one right. 0, 400, small lots, max, man. Okay. So now it should show me. Okay, cool. We're already getting stuff. Lucas says can't access Discord. Yeah, I'm having the same thing, dude. It just churns and nothing happens. Server status. Global unavailability. Investigating. Discord is affected by the general internet outage. Hang tight, pet your cats. Oh, we having an internet outage? Zian, on the other hand, has tested Friday's value high area at 2724 and exploring above. Yes, good point. I don't think I've gotten any big lots yet, which is interesting. Now I'm going to come over here to this one, and I'm going to add my stats. I think I need to make a new indicator here with some other stuff, but this minimum filter I'm going to make 400 as well. Okay. And then I need to add a new output. There we go. Where can we put this? I think I want you guys to be able to see it. We just I want to cover up the e-mini though. Can put it up here in the corner for now. How about that? That'd be okay. I don't tend to watch the ZF stuff over here, so see if it shows us anything. Right now, it's not showing me any hits. That. Oh, it does not like that. That is not one that I should get. Where's my editor? Well, I have to fix that. We're just gonna have to fix that. Level 2 stats. I think I have a filter there on it, right? Where's min? Oh, that's right. That's right. I changed. I I had to fix that in another indicator. Let me grab that. It was in, I think it was in my other stats one, right? What was it? Range histogram? I think. Yeah. Copy. Get rid of that one. That sound, I think, means that it already did fix it, but I'll just refresh it just to be sure. Okay, and over here at 5. I didn't get an error that time. Okay, cool. Cool. That one's working. That one appears to be working. Okay. Okay, so do you see that right there? At 127.24 half, there was some pulling and some stacking on the bid at 25 half. And somebody had a big old bid way up there, or big old offer way up there at 128.09 half, which I'm not even sure how that can see that, but 128.09 half, that's beyond where my level 2 can see. How come I'm able to see that? 33, 34. Whoa. Did they increase the number of market depth that I can see? Can I see like 64 now? Dude, what? Can I see 100? I can see 100? Can I see 101? No, I can't. I can't see. No, wait, what? No, it'll stop me at 100. That's fucking interesting. That's way. So something changed on Rhythmic. Oh, that's interesting. Well, that's interesting, folks. Okay, and somebody had an offer all the way up there at 09, and they dumped it. And there's a big old one there at 08, too. I can see like so far now. Whoa. That's so crazy. Well, let's try it on these other ones. 100. Cool. That's so cool, guys. And this will be particularly helpful over here. 100. Cool. And then, of course, this one. 100. Awesome. Look, I can see things in the E-mini that I could not see before. Okay, cool. So I just see, okay, there's a couple of big orders there when it pulled. That was at, let's make this smaller. There we go. Okay. 127.31 half. So some of these big asks above are coming off. 127.11. That's very much below us, though. coming off as well. $11.07. That one came off. There's this big order at 16, I think is important. I think maybe if we get up to the other side of the view up, I might want to start taking it out. I feel so left out with my kinetic feed only giving me 10 levels. Well, it was only giving me 32 before the break. They changed something, didn't they? Hmm. When I was looking at that, so that was the first thing, was that when I came in on FOMC day and I had this indicator running, and I saw them put some bids like way up there, and I'm like, whoa, hold the boat. Hold the boat. That's interesting. Not interesting because I think that something that far out is pretty hard for my time frame to react to. But if I see it change when there was significant market movement like we just had right there, then I think that that matters. And that's something that, well, I don't know if you would miss it because I would still have read that market movement the same. But yeah, the crazy thing is how much more expensive kinetic is than rhythmic. Yeah, but I think the difference with kinetic is that kinetic is unfiltered. So you see literally everything. Whereas rhythmic kind of like filters out some changes. It doesn't show me everything. Oh, okay. So now some stacking at 24. That stacked up really quick. And that really turned. That's interesting. Yeah, but it's probably so minute human beings don't notice it anyways, right? Well, the one thing that I remember one time, I came in here and I changed some things. I think that part of it was the type of market that we were seeing, but I was seeing the level 2 change very smoothly. You just could kind of see it like peaking and lowering, and when the pace of those changes changed, you could tell. And yeah, I don't know what the deal was. Update interval prints. That's the when the volume goes through. I think I had my update interval at 5 at the time too. Anyways, it was very different, and I found it so easy to read the level 2 when it was doing that. And I don't really see it act that way anymore. And I think that rhythmic was filtering things differently at the time or something. So if you have kinetic and it's kind of, you know, ticking a little bit differently, that might be helpful. So a little bit of spoofing around here with some big orders. Somebody did put the big offer at 09.5 back on though. Okay, so something that I'm seeing right off is that you're getting a lot more changes in the long than you are short. If that makes sense. Like there are more orders being placed and removed on the long than there are, sorry, on the short than on the long. Oh, actually, no, that's not what that means. means that there's a lot more adding than there are pulling. That's what's happening. So the liquidity is increasing. And you can definitely see that there's only the 37.5 down there now that is light. And it's 704, so we're probably in a nasty area. We might be getting some. It's looking like something crazy is going to happen, and we may just sit here for another 30 minutes. Same with the pretty much the same thing in the ZF, although there was a change there in the absorption. Pretty clear change there in the absorption in the 5-year for the reversal. Let's shut this machine. Well, yeah, no, I copied it, so I don't need this machine on anymore. So I just shut that down. But now that it's the crappy hour, we can yap for a little bit, yeah? So let me tell you, let's talk about the political race again. So first of all, just a reminder, I am going to try and live stream the debates. So I'm not going to be able to show the live audio or video from the live stream. So I'm going to have to try really hard to explain what I'm reacting to. But I think we should be okay. But if I start showing like actual audio or video of the debate in my live stream, I'm pretty sure you're going to get taken down. So we won't do that. But we will be here to chit chat and talk about it, which I think should be fun. And assuming that Discord is up, because they're having service problems today, but if Discord is up, we'll definitely have some talk about it in the political analysis channel. But as far as where the race stands today, and I really wish I could have had the time to make a video for today, but, was not able to get in on Saturday. I tried to fly in Saturday, and my wife and kids were able to get on that flight, but there was only 4 seats available, so I had to wait till Sunday. So no time to do that. But anyways, but what I would be saying, though, is Joe Biden totally blew it this week. He completely blew it. He blew it so bad that this is kind of going back into that, do you really want to win sort of a thing. Like, I'm not saying that I believe that he doesn't want to win. That would be a conspiracy theory, and I can't prove that. But it was just so bad that it is like, he has to know better. So what did he do? Well, I think that the thing that he really screwed up, Joe Biden screwed up on, was he said nothing is fundamentally going to change. Did you hear that report? The funny thing is there was a big noise about it the day that it happened, and then everybody kind of forgot about it. And it seems like that the media is intentionally trying to not air it out. But that's a campaign-ending statement right there. Well, it's a pretty strong uptick there, 24.5 to 25. Okay, and let me explain why this is so bad. So I think the first initial impression that people are going to get is, oh, well, that's just the status quo, and voters tend to want somebody that, has an agenda and is, has a optimistic view of the future and what we can accomplish if we change things and stuff, like Barack Obama had. That was kind of his thing, was, everything's going to be good, right? And so to say, well, I'm the status quo candidate, and really his nickname is Status Quo Joe at this point. He tried to, Donald Trump tried to give him a nickname. I don't think it's going to stick. I think he's Status Quo Joe. That's what I'm calling him. So there's that whole thing. But I don't think that is why he screwed up so badly. Here's what I think is a bigger deal. Okay. You have to realize, and we can prove this statistically, that the Democrat Party over the past 10 years or so has moved. Okay. Republicans pretty much believe the same thing that they believe, but the left, and particularly the far left, has changed. And they are really, what is the word? They've been agitated, or like they're on social media too much, basically. They're on social media too much, and they're reading all of these stories, anecdotes from people about discrimination. And I saw this thing the other day that was like, okay, when was the first time that a white person ever betrayed you? And it was all these black people saying, well, one time when I was a kid, my friend did this shitty thing to me. And it was funny reading it because I was like, I'm pretty sure that every person on this planet had something unjust happen to them when they were a kid. And when one of their friends did something shitty to them, like when one of my white friends did something shitty to them, I didn't sit down and think, oh, it's because I'm black, because obviously I'm not black, right? But the people that are of a minority, they automatically assume that the reason that shitty thing was done to them was because of their race, and not because people are just shitty in general, right? But that's what you're fighting against right now. There is this like very, very strong thing on social media that is exaggerating social injustice out there, right? Fuck, the 3 friends I do have as an adult still do shitty things, right? Right? Anyways, I'm just saying, a lot of the social media is causing us to see certain things as larger problems than they probably are, right? It's kind of this big question. It's like when you're looking at media, how do you determine what you should pay attention to and what you don't? Well, you pay attention to what's your interest, but you can totally give yourself a wrong impression about how big of a deal something is. And you can use statistics about that, but what? We're going to look at every story and look at the statistics and say, okay, is it socially responsible to push this story? You know what I mean? The Republicans have moved towards the center, and Democrats have fomented fake narratives and activated the most extreme left elements. Okay, I mean, I'm going to say I kind of agree with what you're saying there, Dojo. I don't like the way that you said it, but but yeah, they have really activated the most extreme far left elements. Okay. And I'm not saying that to criticize the Democrat Party. I'm not saying that to say that that's bad. I'm just saying that you can go into statistics and you can prove that the left has moved, and they have moved particularly on the issue of race. Okay. Republicans believe what they've always believed. So, anyways, there's a lot of things that we could say about that, about why are race relations getting worse in the United States. And I think it's because of Democrats, but I digress. That was not the point. The point was this: if you're running in the primary and you say nothing fundamentally is going to change, how does the far left read that? The far left reads that as, oh, so you're going to continue to support this racist, fascist country that I hate. That's what they think. When Joe Biden is saying it as like a moderate thing, it's like, no, Barack Obama was great, and we're just going to continue to do everything that Barack Obama did, and it'll be wonderful, right? But in the far left activist's mind, he's thinking, oh, Joe Biden is racist. That's what that's what they hear in their head when he says that. Joe Biden is racist. It's like a liberal racist dog whistle. And you can absolutely see that coming out in their reaction to Joe Biden in the past week, because in the past week now he's being accused of being racist. And he actually is defending now having supported segregationalist senators in the past, which is kind of a bizarre hill to stand on. But there's no mistake that came up, and that Kamala Harris and Cory Booker started going after him after he said nothing fundamentally was going to change this, because the far left interprets that as Joe Biden is racist. Race relations are still bad on the internet and in media on the ground. Everybody is still getting along just fine, except in huge cities. Those places are like prisons. Anyways. Yeah. I think you're right that, like, well, I mean, if you were a racist person and you were in person, with somebody of a race that you were discriminatory against, you're not just going to be outright about it, you know. Of course, they always try and be sly about it or something, but I mean, come on. On the internet, what the problem that I see on the internet is that you see people's diverging incentives play out, and they turn it into a race issue. So it's like, if my demographic tends to do this sort of a thing and this policy, would be good for that particular sort of a thing, then they turn it into a race thing and you start hearing people say racist things. It's really sad, but that's just the way people are, unfortunately. I think there's a real problem here that social media amplifies. Amplifies is the word that I'm looking for. Social media amplifies the worst elements of our society, and we need to come up with a new network that doesn't do that, in my opinion. I love the term dog whistle because the implication of a dog whistle is that only dogs can hear it. So when people talk about dog whistles, it makes me wonder if, they're a dog. Ever notice how white leftists are better at hearing racist dog whistles than the average person? Wonder why? Yeah. Well, the thing is that nobody else believes in that, right? This is the ideology on the left that I think is the most dangerous. Is that you can come out and you can say, okay, here's this person or this small group, and the smaller the group, better. Okay, so this is just like a guy and a dozen people that every once a month they march downtown or something like that with signs, and they're right wing. Okay, and maybe one of them says something dumb or whatever they can to be politically incorrect. And what happens? Well, now that group is racist, or now that group is what are white nationalists, right? And now anybody that's ever associated with those people can now be connected to white nationalists, even though those original people weren't white nationalists. So then you'll get these stories out there that are like, okay, Senator Steve King is associated with white nationalists. He's a white nationalist. And you see this thing the other day where Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was rejecting an invitation to visit the Holocaust Museum because Steve King suggested that she should go, and she thinks that Steve King is a white nationalist. He's not. I mean, he says that he's not. And of course, then the thing that the Democrats come out and say is, you say that you're not. But of course, no racist would ever actually admit to being racist. But we know what you really believe. So now you're getting into like thought crime, right? It's like, we know what you really believe, even though you're not willing to say it, which is, I think, an insane and dangerous thing to start saying. And it's the same thing as the dog whistle, because you're basically accusing people of having a belief that you can't prove that they have. You know what I mean? It's super crazy. And I think most other people adhere to the thing that is like, unless you can prove it, unless they've actually said something or done something that was racist, you can't say that they believe that. Yeah. The president of Poland sent AOC a letter inviting her to tour an actual concentration camp. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Go and read her tweets from yesterday. Because it was like the worst. Oh, man, I'll tell you, here's what I'm noticing about AOC. I'll be on Reddit and I'll be arguing with people on Reddit. And I tend to kind of go in and argue and see what sort of a thing like triggers them. Like, what is the argument that they seem to want to fight really hard against? Because if you say something dumb, they just kind of ignore it. But if you have a good argument, then all of a sudden all these people come out and want to argue with you about it. So I'll find the thing that they want to argue about and what they're saying about it. And then a week later, I'll see Ocasio-Cortez tweeting about it. So it seems to me that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez reads Reddit too much. I really think that's what's going on. And so she is convinced, because Reddit has convinced her, that Steve King is racist. So then when she's invited to visit a Holocaust museum by a white nationalist. She goes on a rant about, that I don't, you know, about I just don't tolerate haters or whatever it was that she said. But it was like this insane rant over whether she should visit a Holocaust museum. And it's like, you're not going to go to the Holocaust? Like, I'm sorry, but if another country invites you to go to a Holocaust museum, like a special invitation to go with the Holocaust survivor, you fucking go. Are you kidding me? You just go. Just stop talking, Alex. I'm trying to help you, Alex. Okay? Just go. So saying no is like the worst optics you could possibly have. And then she says no, and she does it in the worst way possible. Just crazy. I'm telling you. She's on Reddit too much. She's on Twitter too much. Alex. I'm gonna start calling you Alex, because Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is just too much, and we're all friends around here. So Alex, if you're listening, which you're probably not, but if you are listening, Alex, turn the phone off. No phone, no Reddit, no Twitter, no Facebook for a month. Seriously, just turn it off and go and talk to actual fucking people. Go and to your district and talk to people on the ground and talk to them about what are things that have happened to them that are relevant to Congress in the past month or something like that, Get the real things. Find out what are the real things that you can actually do in Congress, There's no helping some folks. It's too emotional. Yeah, I don't know. I think that one of the things that's happening out there is I think that you've got a lot of people on the left that aren't very they don't have a high emotional IQ. You know what I mean? They're just not very self-aware. They're not very good at interacting with other people. And I'm not saying that there's not people like that on the right, but what's happening is that the people on the right are taking advantage of the people on the left that don't have that high IQ, and they're messing with them to make them look bad. They really, for these people, they would really help to turn the phone off and interact with people. I'm not the most social person myself, I'll admit, but anyways. There was another comment here I think I missed. You don't have to be a white nationalist to be a white nationalist. It all boils down to how the authorities paint you on Twitter and the media. Yeah, totally. It's a total joke. Anyways, so that's why I think that Joe Biden, there's a dopamine hit when they get positive feedback from their cohorts, especially over Twitter. Oh, totally. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Anyways, so that's why I think that Joe Biden may have just torpedoed his campaign, right? There was actually a little bit of an increase in level 2 activity when we got here down to 24.5. So that might actually be a buy if you could get filled at 24. In fact, since I'm on sim here, need to be on auto. Let's see if I can take it. Okay. Anyways, so I think that Joe Biden probably destroyed his campaign last week, and we'll see. But I'm expecting that during the debates, that race in that second debate may end up being a big deal. Now the other dynamic that's going on is that all of the big politicians somehow randomly got drawn into the second debate. So we're going to hear them all on Wednesday, and only Elizabeth Warren, the upstart that's gaining momentum at the moment, was in the other group, which is really interesting, right? I don't know if that helps her or hurts her. It's going to give her the complete stage to push her ideas, but she's first. So it's like, everybody's going to forget about it. Personally, I don't think it's a good thing for her. But it's also interesting that she's starting to pick up support versus Bernie Sanders. Although I think that one has been a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like the media wants her to move up, and I've been seeing a lot of stuff saying, oh, she's gaining, and all talking about Elizabeth Warren, and all the media is Elizabeth Warren all the time. And then, of course, guess what? She's up. But it's not because she actually has real support. It's because she's flavor of the month now. That's how bad it's gotten. Is that now Elizabeth? This is like when Ron Paul was flavor of the month in the Republican primary, right? Okay. Now there's a third thing, and that's Pete, right? Because Pete is trying to play the diversity card, and he's getting absolutely obliterated as a racist. But see, once again, you have to realize the left has moved. It's not enough to come out and say, I'm against racism. Racism is bad. You can't do that. Racists, of course, all of the racists say that racism is bad, folks. No, you have to be woke. Okay, which means you've got to support the whole communist agenda. Like, we need to change this economy into communism to destroy racism. And there should be reparations. And if you don't subscribe to the whole thing, you get branded as a racist. That's what happened. That's just the way that it is. Andrew Yang is in the debate with Sanders and Biden, whether you like him or not. I think he will smoke them because Biden/Sanders are non-innovators. Well, it's definitely going to be an interesting dynamic, but I think that what you're going to find is that Andrew Yang is going to get minimized in that debate. He's probably not going to get a whole lot of time to talk. When he does talk, it's going to be like everybody piling on him. And he may not be good on the debate stage. You would think otherwise because he's had some good interviews out there and everything. But I think you're going to find that when the thinker person, and I know this because I'm kind of that person, right? I tend to be the idea person, but then when it comes to like organizing and orchestrating everything to happen, I'm not the best at it, And Andrew Yang, I think you're gonna find in the debate that when everybody's piling in on him, he doesn't look as good. But I could be wrong. But that's just the deck is stacked against him. You know what I mean? So yeah, the debate is going to be interesting. But I think that if I was to make a prediction, I think you're going to see Joe Biden's going to take a big hit, and Kamala Harris is going to take a big boost out of the debate, probably, just based on the way this setup is and the way I've seen this work before. That's like a really, really wild prediction, but hey, that's what I do is speculate, right? We'll see what happens. I would expect that Kamala Harris to be higher, to take the biggest increase on predicted after the debate. That's my prediction, right? Okay, so now the other thing, the Oregon thing, because Uzi mentioned the Oregon thing. All right, so what's going on in Oregon? Well, they want to pass cap and trade in Oregon, which, let's just get this out of the way, okay? Cap and trade is a stupid fucking idea. Man, I need to stop swearing today. But it's been a whole week and I just want to be passionate. I don't know. It's an awful idea. Cap and trade is an awful idea. That California did it, I think, is just crazy. Okay. I really thought that cap and trade was like a dead idea that they tried at the end of the Bush years and everybody realized was just too toxic to do. But they're not giving up. But anyways, it's just a bad idea. Okay, so they want to pass cap and trade in Oregon, and I'm actually hearing they want to do some gun control stuff too. But anyways, and in the Senate in Oregon, the Democrats have a majority, so they have like an 18-12 majority. So they have like a 6-person majority, which is not that much, but when your Senate is that small, it's a big deal. And the Republicans just simply refuse to do cap and trade. And I don't blame them, because when you look at their constituents, cap and trade kills their constituents, frankly. It would be so damaging to the rural parts of Oregon. It's so damaging. You allow cap and trade to go through, you might as well not be in the Senate. You know what I mean? Like that is truly a do or die issue for those people. And so what have they done? They have decided to pull the run out of town and prevent a quorum from being formed. So all of the Republicans have left town, refused to come to the session, and so they can't get enough of a quorum to pass any laws in Oregon right now. Well, in Oregon, this is where it gets crazy, right? In Oregon, they have a law that allows the governor to direct the police to arrest these senators and bring them in and to force them to vote. That is fucking dumb. I just given up on not swearing. Like that law exists, to me, is absolutely crazy. It should not be allowed to exist, frankly. But that's the sort of thing that, it can exist. You don't ever actually do it. But then the governor straight up goes and tells the police, okay, go and find them. Okay? So this governor is insane. Quite frankly, that is insane. Like, if they don't want to, if they're going to leave town, that should be a signal to you that you've taken it too far. Okay? It's just that even if you have a majority and you can pass something and you want to pass something, doesn't mean you should. Okay? That's how we got Obamacare. That's just too destructive. They skip town. That should be a signal to you to stop. But no, she orders the police to go and chase them down. Okay, so this is like for real. And one of the senators said, "Well, if you're going to come and try and arrest me, you better send single guys." He basically said that I won't be taken alive, was what he said. Okay, what he said was totally insane too. Like extreme. Like, I just can't believe that anybody was saying it. But he was basically saying that I'm not going to come in unless you kill some people to get to me, which is nuts. But then I think it's just crazy that he says that, and the Democrats are like, oh, look at how extreme the Republicans are. These militia groups are helping him. Like it's, I don't know I don't even know what to say. I haven't seen enough of their reaction to really mock it, but they seem excited about it. Like, they think, oh, hi, Zalidia. How's it going? It's good to see you again. Hope you had a good week. Anyways, but the Democrats seem excited to me. Yes, send bachelors and lots of guns. That was the quote. Yes. Anyways, it seems to me like Democrats are excited about this. They think that look, the Republicans are being extreme and this makes us look good. It's not a good thing for you guys, Democrats. Okay. This is like, you're a dog and you got out of the yard and you think that you're about to chase down a car and finally catch a car. But really the truth is you're about to just get run over by a semi-truck. Like, no joke. Okay. So I guarantee you, after this, those people in the rural areas are not just going to sit on their laurels. Okay. They're going to be pissed. I do not think that the balance in the Senate is going to be the same after the next election off of something like that. Because for the rural people, they are now fighting for their livelihood. Okay, you pass cap and trade, it's done for them. I would straight up move if that's what was happening. Okay, and it may happen. You may just see everybody in rural Oregon just get up and leave and move to Idaho. No joke. Okay, it's not a good thing for you, Democrats. It's not a good look. And this governor doing that really brings her judgment into question. and her ability to handle tense political situations, and there's a high probability that she does something else dumb. But I think that whole situation over there is crazy. But I wasn't a big fan when the Democrats did that in Wisconsin. I don't even remember what the end result of all that was. I think that they still passed the law, right? I think that the Democrats lost that one, right? Okay, I wasn't a fan of it when Republicans did it, and I'm not, or sorry, when the Democrats did it, and I'm not a fan of it when the Republicans did it. But if there was an issue that was worth, you know, putting your foot down on to that extreme, it's cap and trade, or gun rights, absolutely. So that would just absolutely destroy those people's livelihood. So that's a pretty tense situation. I'm guessing that it all just fizzle out, but well, okay, so that was a bad downtick on me. Mm-mm-mm. Not really getting the excitement I'm expecting either. So I think that we might get an uptick here. What's going on? It's also interesting the E-mini is selling and we downticked in the 10-year. And they're having trouble even making much of a bear push below the open at the moment. Okay, now they're pushing the low. Okay. But we don't get an uptick in the Treasury? Well, that's curious. Well, either way, I think I have to dump this. Oh, just as I was about to click there, it turned. Still think I'm going to sell it though. So they're stacking at 23.5. It's actually, I think it's going to turn here. Whoa. Okay. So we're getting pretty big icebergs on both sides in the 5-year here, and the 10-year is reciprocating that. And we've got 5K has gone into 23.5 and it hasn't made it go bid. This is pretty crazy. And equities still appear to be selling. Also, I saw a lot of big orders change, but not a lot of small orders change. See, it's probably going to iceberg as long as the 5-year's not, well, in the 5-year downtick, which is bad. Okay. Done. I shouldn't have canceled that. I did that wrong. Okay. Well, now that we've gone on a rant about Wisconsin and it's the E-mini open, we got quite a bit more people watching. So good morning, everybody. And that's good that we still get a good number of viewers, even though Discord is down. What the heck is with Discord? Oh, there's Ace. How's it going, dude? You have a good week last week? I don't know. This is still telling me that it's going to turn here, but I tried to spawn and it didn't work out, so I don't know what else to do. It looks like there's a spreader in ZB and ZF. That could be. They did downtick there in ZF, didn't they? It looks like it's going to turn here. It really does. He says, yes, let's chat more in a bit. Gotcha. Well, we can try it again. It's telling me, though, that they can't push. So that, like, the way that I just got filled there was really good. He's on the offer in ZB and the bid in ZF. Look at the vistas. Oh, I see. You're the 30 and the 5, yes. Yeah, I've seen this one before. Not between these two, but this kind of a setup before. And I tried doing a study to figure out if there was a way to tell which direction it was going to go, and you can't tell which direction it's going to go. But you can, you do tend to get good moves off of it. So, yeah. That means the action is going to suck? No, it's not. Anytime that you start to see spreading, it tends to increase opportunities for us. Now that said, I got a good spot at 23, but they're not punching up through 23.5, and there's 0.2.5 in the 5-year is being a pill. So I may be proven spectacularly wrong here. So there's still iceberging on in the 10-year. But you're getting a lot of changes when they're happening all at 23 too. Okay. Oh, finally able to make it go bid. And a stack at 23.5. That is useful. So did you see what just happened there was when we ticked up, I could see that they added a 400 lot went to buy it. You could see that it increased to like 1,000 or 1,500, but there was a big lot in it too. And a big ask added way up at 128.08. Way up there. Way up here. Look, it's a 6,000 now. But I did not get my fill at 24. And the E-mini's not going down either. E-mini looks really noisy right now. So here's another thought, Uzi. You're saying, like when you see spreads, it's not necessarily a good thing in your experience. Uh, it's it's not a good thing if you're trading the 30 year right now, right? Because if we do move up, it looks like we're going to move up. And they're going to be buying it in the 5 year and selling it in the 30 year. The 30 year is not going to move as much. Hmm. They've taken 23 half now. Um, Pretty uh, good stacking at 23 half a few times now, but they haven't been able to eat into 24. I am 1600 in line. Uzi gives a big frowny face. No, buddy, it's not cool. You've been lucky the past few weeks, though, with the knob going the way that it has been really advantageous for the 30 year. Okay, so while they ticked up again and almost everything in 24 pulled, it's still not taking it. Mm-mm-mm. Well, they tried to take 23 half offer again. Actually, some iceberging at 23 half. The 5 year, though, is not look favorable at the moment. In fact, that big order that's been behind us was at 01 and 3/4 is now at 01 half. I moved up a little bit. Now it's staying at 01 and 3/4 again. Look at the 30 year. See, they're selling it here. Now you've got pretty big orders on both sides of it in the 30 year, though. You got 1,000 at 05, and you got 900 at 01. I don't know if so here's the other thing. I do think because the way that you see it show up and everything, it does look like a spread trade, but it's not unusual to see 1,000 on both sides in the 30 year too. So it may not be like a super huge deal. Okay. We finally get filled. Thank you. It looked like a lot pulled there. So once again, they're looking a little excited, but I don't know if they're actually going to be able to hold it and push through here. Not unless the E-mini like really gets killed here. By the way, did I change the I think I did. Cool. Changed my title in YouTube to see if that made a difference in our hits. So we'll see. Give it a month and we'll look at our stats. Probably taking a week off will hurt us a little bit, but it's okay. We're doing okay today. And I guess it doesn't really matter if people watch or not, right? Don't want to get too big. Anyways. That reminds me. So it had I was kind of thinking still a lot about my bad day that I had. What was it? 2 Wednesdays ago now? And I think on one hand, I think maybe I was a little bit too hard on myself. Like if I think about myself as a separate person, and if I was saying to another person some of the things I was saying to myself, I think that they would feel very discouraged. And it was an understandable thing that happened, So I don't think I should be quite so hard on myself. Breaking. No, it's not just you. Half of the internet is down, including Google, Amazon, and Reddit, really. We getting disruption? So can I visit Google? I can visit Google. I can visit Amazon. Are there, let's see if I can find something on Reddit about this. I'm wondering, are the domains getting attacked again? You know what I'm talking about? Did Tehran retaliate with a cyber strike? That could happen. I've got a ton of responses over the night on Reddit too. Internet down. Posts from past 24 hours. Network outage. It sounds like Cloudflare is down. Who's your DNS? Because it's probably just the domain name servers, right? Like last time. Remember when DIN went down? So now they come in and they attack Cloudflare. That's what it just from reading the headlines on Reddit. We're going to tick up here again. Looks like everything is back up. We had an outage that was affecting Cox and Optimus services. Is anyone else having problems? Cloudflare is having issues. This leak is impacting many internet services, including Cloudflare. We're continuing to work with the internet provider that created this route leak to remove it. So probably if we were able to punch in an IP directly for Discord, we'd probably be able to get back into Discord. But now, having issues with Cloudflare and Amazon Web Services. Numerous customer websites are down. I don't know. I doubt that it was Tehran, but who knows? Not sure what the advantage of that would be other than to prove that you can. So that's the other thing that we need to talk about that we haven't talked about. I totally forgot about the Iran thing. Which, this one's hard though, because I'm of the opinion that you can't believe something unless it's been conclusively proven. And there's hardly any material fact that I can think of with the whole Iran situation that I can say I can prove. You know what I mean? That whole situation is just tense. And the fact that Donald Trump was going to do a strike and then changed his mind. And at first I thought that they were going to come out and say it was fake news, but it sounds like that's literally what happened. Was he came out and he changed his mind. Now, the one thing is that when they were going to do their attack, it seemed a little too telegraphed. Like everybody was reporting on it. So I kind of wonder if they did that on purpose, but still.
And then did Iran actually attack those oil tankers? I can't say. I don't see any conclusive proof either way. I don't believe Tehran. This is one of the things that really irks me about what I'm seeing on the internet right now is that I'm seeing so many people saying, "Oh, this is a false flag attack." Like Iran is completely innocent. No. No, 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 no. Listen, the Iranian Guard is not controlled by the Iranian government. They can do whatever the fuck they want. And they be crazy. So they totally could. And it might seem completely illogical to us. That's just the way it is. But you still got to prove that they did it. And I don't think that we have. This has given me 11 ticks separate now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yes, it is. So this is telling me if I can get one at 23.5, I should take it. I actually got the bottom end of that by getting filled at 23, which is really good. I'm from Sudan, and this is on Reddit. I'm from Sudan in Africa. This is day 20, and there's no internet except one cable Wi-Fi service from one company that I'm using right now. But like 90% of the people don't have internet. Huh. Yes, this is something different. We're gonna tick up. Come on, E-Mini. The internet's down. That sounds like a good reason to sell. Internet's down. Hey, there's JB. How's it going? Did I get your notes today? I wanted to see what your notes were. Yes, I do have your notes. My bias would be bullish if they start closing bars below 155.04. I think that he meant to say bearish there, right? It does look bearish to me. I don't know. Well, the action started to look bearish, but I am getting a short-term reversal signal of sorts here. So, I did get filled at 23.5, so it should be 24.5. This one's going to be interesting because I had a signal that said long at 23. I took it. I got the 2-tick fill, and then I got another long signal at 23.5, so I'm going to take that one too, and that one's just a 2-ticker signal anyways. So if this all works out and then we get above 24.5, I'm going to be super stoked. But the trend is still kind of down for the day, so I shouldn't count my chickens before they hatch, right? Although I am going to get some chickens. Yes, so that's another thing we should talk about is the yard. Ugh. Okay, so I worked that whole week so hard, get everything ready. We got almost everything done except for there's like one set of like metal siding that I wasn't able to finish because I don't have enough. And stairs. You need to do some stairs up the middle. But I wasn't planning on doing that for a while anyways. So anyways, I do that. And we didn't order enough grass. Like we ordered like maybe 60% of the grass that we needed. And I guess the plans that my wife had calculated it from were not really accurate to scale. So when she, used a ruler and measured out how much square footage it actually was, it wasn't even close to enough. So I still have more work to do in the yard. I thought I was done. I'm upset. I have some grass. I have grass in the important areas, so it looks really, really nice. But I'm still going to have to do work on the weekends on this, and I'm bitterly disappointed about that. Having said that, my bias would be less bullish if they started closing bars below 155.04. It says less bullish. Oh, I see. My bias would be less bullish if they start closing bars below 1. Yes, that is exactly what he said. Man, we've been down here back and forth now for almost 30 minutes since the E-mini started. This is something that has a pretty high probability of reversing above 24 for at least a little bit. Especially now that the E-mini is starting to get some more selling. And the cumulative delta in particular is starting to look really good short. Treasuries do seem to be able to be pushing up without causing overexcitement. There's a very high probability that it's going to come up to 20 to fill me. Oh, look at that. That was two good strong ticks there. Okay. Good deal. Super happy about that. Okay, we're doing okay at 24.5. So I think that we could get some continuation. So now here we are faced with an interesting question. Where should I move my stop? Well, I think if it touched 22.5, then we're definitely wrong about something. But do I want to try and do it at 23? Does it matter? Are we even going to come back there? I don't know. At the moment, I don't know. This is kind of contradictory, but I like that it moved up, and I like that it moved up and it's not getting excited, and I think that it could move forward. But on the other hand, that means that there's a good chance that they could just come back into the zipper. Yeah. I'm going to trade 23.5 again. And the E-mini is turning. Still got that pretty strong bid in the 5-year pushing us up. So that's another thing that's going on. Well, I don't think it's pushing us up, but it's following us up. It actually follows us up and down. What are some of these big ones? 127, 23.5. 07. 07 and 07.5 keeps moving around. Spoofing. So the thing is that trade that I took where I took the 2 ticks, that's like an 80% trade now. To get 25 is 60% chance. So still pretty high probability, but significantly less than what we just had. So, wouldn't just assume it's a done deal, The E-mini's moving up too. It's actually pretty strong move up in cumulative delta in the E-mini. Getting some bids at 19. That's interesting. So there's an order moving around down in here. This is probably, again, just robot activity, but Okay, something just weird just happened there in the E-mini. Turned. Anyways, I had a thought earlier and I kind of had just let it die. What was I? Oh, I was talking about. I think I was a little bit too hard on myself. I think that obviously there's the psychology aspect here, and I think that it's going to be a little bit more on the self awareness side. I was also thinking about it just as like the larger, uh, what we're doing here and motivations and things. And I think that I was been a little bit, uh, what is the word? Ungrateful, I guess. I'm always thank you guys for coming out. I think it's just absolutely great that we got the community that we got going here and that we have people coming in every day to chat with and stuff. It's just so much fun and it's great. But I think sometimes when I get some winners and I don't sit down and think about, okay, that was good. The market gave me what it gave me. I think that I'm still kind of the mind of like, yeah, finally I'm getting what's mine. Let's keep going. Get out of here. That sort of a thing. Yeah, and when I think about like the branding, not that I really think about branding too much, but I don't really think that's us, right? Like I could be all booyah and do the Jim Cramer thing and try and be hype all the time, but that's just that hasn't been this stream, and I don't think that that's why you guys watch, right? You know, self-deprecating. Yeah. I, uh, I just I think that part of our thing here is just being grateful for what you can get and to not get too big for your chops. And then so I think maybe we need to do a little bit more to reinforce that. When we're done here with the yard and I have some more free time on the weekends, I think we're gonna have to start picking up some extracurricular activities. When self-deprecating goes too far, it can become self-loathing and self-sabotaging, which are less amusing forms of putting yourself down. Yeah. Well, yeah, so going back to what I was saying earlier, I feel like, okay, I was sitting there getting mad. I think that I resent myself because I feel like I had some crazy opportunity and I blew it. Now, on one hand, I think that's kind of like the reality of the situation was that I made a couple of bad trades. Okay, and I did kind of blow it, I think. But if I was trying to help another trader and I tell them that, that's not going to help them. You know what I mean? And the mistakes that I made, they're not like unreasonable mistakes. It was very, very understandable mistakes. And we were getting into my limit, It was like really rangy market, really crazy action, a very uncertain long-term trend, unusual moves, and heightened emotions in general that I don't have a whole lot of experience with. So it's not crazy or, I shouldn't be killing myself too bad that happens. But what we should just be going back into saying is like identifying the problems. And psychology and self-awareness is definitely one of those we can work on. And I think that trying harder to be a little bit grateful and also think about what I'm thinking and feeling, I think will go a long way towards that. So the thing that I'm thinking right now is I got 2 trades that both got a contract filled, and I'm feeling pretty good at this 24. And I think in the past I've been getting winners, and I say, okay, I got it, and I'm done, and I kind of tune out at that point. But I think that this is where I need to be a little bit more focused on the action to get the out or to push my edge further. Because what's happening is when I'm doing well, I relax, and when I'm not doing well, I hyper focus. And I need to do the opposite. I need to hyper focus when I'm doing well to push it, and when I'm not doing well, I need to relax so that I don't take bad trades. Looks like that spreadman in ZF and ZB is out of the way. He did kind of the 5-year did kind of disappear there, didn't it? You're getting a bubble there in ZB 649 at what, at 05? Ticked down. 5 years doing some interesting stuff. I think I'm just going to take the 09. Actually, well, so the interesting thing is that I haven't gotten a level 2 flip here yet. Or what is the word? What do I want to call this? I haven't seen the retail traders get overexcited. So what I think it is. They'll like pump it up, and it's like all of a sudden there's tons of bids and offers everywhere changing, and then there's a little bit of volume and it flips. That's kind of the trade that I originally took, and that's the one that I'm really keeping an eye out for. Now that said, we've ticked up 1. E-mini is looking okay long, but it's probably a meat grinder in the E-mini. E-mini is probably a mean reversion days, so that might come back. Let's see what happens. The other thing is I'm thinking, I've got a lot here. I can just, sit on it, but I don't think that's what I want to do. Okay, so now I'm seeing this stack at 23.5 in the 10-year. It's only 53, but that's really weird to me. Where do I see that? 127, 23.5. I see here there was a bid of 1,000 that was added and removed. So I probably shouldn't trust that stack at 23.5. Stating the obvious here, with the 24, 16, and buck are areas you should be thinking about closing your profitable trades, in my opinion. Oh yeah, well, so you're saying it's 24 in ZN. So it is an interesting spot, isn't it? Well, yeah, you can see there now at 23.5. Let's just move this down. I'm not getting like the clear. I'm not getting a clear get out signal, but the E-mini moving up is making me nervous. And we did come back down here, which I don't know. This is when I look at the chart, where did I take it from? 23. The way that I look at the chart, I shouldn't be expecting a whole lot more than 3 ticks. You can also see some big orders giving up. E-mini's pushing highs. I don't know. I like to get out 1 tick in front of those levels, depending on which direction we are. Oh, right. You like to take it like, if we were coming up and you're coming up to 24, you like to take it off at 23.5. Totally. Yeah, I remember that well. And the what do we call them? The single prints. Yeah, That I think the single prints is the best thing that John ever taught me. When he started showing that to me, I was like, holy fucking shit, you're totally right. I never never would have noticed that on my own. That if there's single prints, there's always weird stuff. There's always, it doesn't mean that they're not going to go through. I think if we back tested it, probably 50% of the time they go through it. But like 50% of the time, that's enough for you to say, maybe I should take it off here. You know what I mean? But always something funky there. So if you sit down and you say, okay, well, might take a profit here, let's see what happens, and you just kind of sit and wait, then by the time you decide that you actually do want to get out, it's too late, and then it reverses on you. So it's a really good idea to just take the profits there. Nice. I was giving him a similar spill about quarter points, and he kind of fought me on it in his own way. Single prints are golden. Well, I just fight. I don't know, man. Like when I was having that bad action 2 weeks ago or whatever, I was like, hey, we've got some good trend going on here. Like, remember when I had to like 8-tick winners and then I let them come back on me several times? So it was never giving me like the exit, quote unquote. Okay, well, I think I probably could have gotten it off at 24.5. Let's see. It's all love. I understand. Here's what I think. Price will always pause the first time price returns to a single print. Yes. So do you think that they're going to continue moving up here? I don't know. See, the way that it's acting right now, I'm thinking, okay, I feel a little disappointed that I probably could have, well, actually, I don't know if they cleared it, but I might have been able to get 24.5 again. But I did take 6 ticks. That's good. And I took 6 ticks out of a very, very boring range, which is amazing. And I think that that's just my emotions getting a little uppity, because I know there's a possibility that they move up and that we push back up to 26. But I don't really have an edge that tells me that. So really, I'm just holding it out because I'm with the trend and I have money to play with. And that gets back to the grateful thing, is like, you know what? We did really good getting 6 ticks out of that range there. Like, really, really good. And we should be grateful for the amount that we're able to pull out of it. And we shouldn't be just getting reckless with that now that we've made it. Right? I don't know where I read that from, but they were like saying, what happens is a trader will get a winner and then they say, oh, hey, I'm just playing with the market's money. And then they aren't as careful with it. But you've got to treat every little bit that you make as yours, because it is yours now. Don't give it back. Don't be reckless with it. So I think, given that it's not just busting out of here, I think that taking the profit there was an okay decision. I mean, if it totally trends from here, then I'm going to feel a little dumb. But, if it does do that, we could maybe just buy into it again. But here's the other thought, though, is okay, so we've got a strategy. I think you guys kind of understand my strategy for the most part. So the big thing is, if I'm not following my strategy, that's when I need to be set in my place, right? That's when I think having you guys around can be really, really useful, because you can say, hey, normally you would take it off here because of this or that, I'd be surprised if CB does anything at all now. See, they're eating into 24.5, but it's not really just going away. They just don't seem all that interested. It could be the case that we're just in Monday chop, and I don't know. The other thing is the 8:18, so like 10 minutes. We're starting to get into the time period where I just sit and wait for something forever and it never happens, Anyways, Definitely, I think you guys can help when I'm just not following my strategy. But I think the bigger thing is just I don't feel like I'm incredibly self aware. I think that's kind of a symptom of ADHD is a lack of self awareness. Like when I had that bad day, I don't know if you guys could tell that that's where I was going, but I was frankly really caught off guard. I mean, there must have been a point there where I said, okay, that's three and I should quit here. And then I just kept going. But by the time I had taken 5 trades and I was like, oh, now I really need to stop, I was shocked that it had gotten that far. I was like, why didn't I stop? And I didn't feel like tilted, you know? I did feel a little revengey. I didn't feel tilted. And then after that, then it was like it all came out. It was like it was all sneaking under the surface, and I just was focused on something else, you know? And I wish that we had been able to say, hey, Seth, something seems a little off here. Let's take a step back for a second, you know? So, whatever. I think that's where we got to go, because the struggle now, or the it seems like I think the strategy works. I think we've proven that out really well, and I also think that I've discovered some edges that can help us in range bound action. I mean, then I was able to pull 6/6. Granted, I had 2 contracts with it, but then I was able to pull that much out of that is really something. It's really good. In action that I'm really sucking. Okay, so that's all great. I think that the strategy is pretty good. There's still a little bit of trouble on profit taking, but I think generally the strategy is good. So, okay, so there's 25. Okay. So let's see if they make it to 26, because 26 was kind of where I was thinking that I would definitely have to take it off. Unless I saw too much level 2 activity before that. The thing is when you get this sort of a thing. Okay. Really long zipper. 1 tick up, really long zipper. I think that probably 55% of the time they tick up after that. But it's just shit action. Anyways, what was I saying? Yeah, the emotional part is, I think, is where I'm weak. I think most of the time I can get by on habit, but when things really get crazy, then it seems like that's where I have some problem. Or when you're getting into something that is just incredibly unfamiliar, I probably in that situation just need to take a step back and say, well, maybe I should just trade sim right now, or you know, and so just think about that. Don't be afraid to say, hey, you seem a little off. I think, and sometimes I can just be off. Like that week, I was working on the yard so much. I really burnt my body out that week. I didn't go to the gym and I was just toast. And even today, I think I might have a gastrointestinal infection. I don't know how to explain why I think that, but because I don't feel like pain or hurt or feel sick, but my energy is not right. My you know, and maybe that's just been being gone so long, but like having been gone for a week, and I didn't take Adderall while I was gone, so to come back on it, my system should be reset a little bit. It should be really. I should be almost like hyper focused on whether we're going to tick up or not. And I was pretty relaxed there, and even a little bit like, I don't know, hazy or fatigued. And I don't think that I've been able to stay on subject as long as I normally would be. I think I got something going on here. Okay, so they took that. I've had my terminal on since 6:30 Eastern time, and even my ES current trade column since then is only like 26 ticks. Yeah. I think that because the G20 meeting is this weekend and because, we are expecting stuff to come out with the trade war with China out of that, the markets are probably going to be stingy. Doesn't mean that we're not going to get moves and that there's not opportunity, because they're definitely making trades. There was a spread trade today, and I don't know what they were doing there, but there was definitely a spread trade. We did come up from 23 to 25, so there was 4 to 5 that you could have taken there. So there's definitely opportunity, but the market's being stingy. And probably in that situation, I think it's better to be more stingy than the market. Like, I'm still not terribly disappointed that I didn't hold on to that. Probably would be looking for 26 or 26 half right now, though. 26 was the open, so they're going to fight them coming back through the open, for starters. Oh, so the E-mini is not given like an incredibly clear signal. Yeah. So it could still turn around very quickly on you. I'm pleased to announce the launch of tmagic.winred.com. The new platform will allow my campaign and other Republicans to compete with the Democrats' money machine. This has been a priority of mine, and I'm pleased to share that it is up and running. So this is like the Republican version of that. What's that Democrat website? I don't remember what it is. I think that might have been a significant downtick there. Although I'm still not reading anything crazy. Do it like that. Yep, it's a donation site. Nothing too complicated. Anyways, then I did read a book or two. So I have some ideas about some things that I can try and do here. But one of the things that I think we got to do is we got to. I'm gonna do that stairs, but then it's gonna have to start talking to people a bit more. I just, because I do my gym thing, and then I feel like I don't really have a whole ton of time, and it's like if I want to have a party or something like that, I don't like going to the clubs anymore like that. But I think I've just got to force myself. We're gonna find something new to do, so that we can not do the more yappiness. Because this is great to like get people interaction, but I need to be forced into some situations where I have to sit and listen. Yeah, because that's the nice thing about streaming, is that I can yap and I can ignore you guys if I want, or just hold off and then address your comments when I want to. You can't do that in person, and I think that's something I struggle with, and I think that having to do that and practice listening to somebody as they're talking, I think would probably help me, both focusing on the action and being more self-aware, So there's that. What else? So we got a couple of things we got to do here. First of all, I think let's make sure. What do you guys think about the title on the YouTube here? Because I wanted to add stock market because I was doing some research, and there's just a lot more searches for that. So I have it saying Bitcoin Treasury Futures Stock Market. So we'll see if that changes. If you want, as in always want. Yeah, totally. I totally will be like, okay, I have something to yap about. I'll start talking, and then when I'm done, then I look over at the comments, because otherwise it's like the comments are constantly coming in, and you can't keep up with it. Sometimes that means that comments are dropped, but I think we cover the important things here. And a lot of that is just talking for fun, which is okay. We don't always have to talk about the markets, especially if it's slow. Sometimes it can be good to take a little break, and I think that it all kind of comes full circle in the end. Sometimes I get carried away, though. Yeah. Anyways, so, I can get into Discord now. Yay. Yeah, that's funny. Okay, so I need to do the Bitcoin. Okay, I guess I don't need this anymore because I fixed all that. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, so they didn't really do a whole lot of action today. Well, that's interesting. Also interesting, they did turn at 25.5, so they did not clear into 26. I didn't get a clear signal, so they might base off here and go higher. I also wonder, because the treasuries came up there a little bit, it's actually counter to what the 6J is doing. So it seems like that there's just some buying pressure in the treasuries in general, and the E-mini seems to really like that. Okay, well, anyway, so Bitcoin didn't do a whole lot this morning, but let's generate our charts. I will show you, because we had a whole week off on the Patreon, I will show you what's happening over there, because it is not acting normal. We are getting some really bizarre action in Bitcoin right now. I would say unprecedented behavior there. Okay, 170. And that was on the 22nd. And now we're at 11. So that's about right. Okay. Over here. Okay. So here's the chart. You can see that okay. We had a peak there when it was coming up to like 9 or 10,000, and you just were not seeing transactions in the blockchain. And so we almost touched 200. Pretty wild levels. It is incredibly overbought, but you can see here, well, it went over 11K. Yeah. And by the way, nice to see you, Shalom. How long have you been lurking there? He was just waiting for me to say something about Bitcoin. Oh, Ace is looking for a short. Maybe the treasuries are going to move up more. I don't know. Let's see. 26 was where I was looking for. Maybe I shouldn't have taken that profit. I don't know. It's that thing. This one. When you watch this, it's like you get a long zipper, and then it's one tick higher, and you get another long zipper. And then if it ticks up like even one, you can like take that. But anyways, Bitcoin. See, I'm getting distracted again. So we pushed up and it got to 200, but then after we pushed up, then you started seeing blockchain transactions. It actually increased quite a bit last week. And so that brought us back to, well, today, at one point it was 150 and today we're at 170. So, now I've seen this sort of a thing before, actually. So one place that we've seen this before that I'd like to point out is right here. I don't know if, can you see that yellow? Maybe let me do it in blue. Okay, this right here. They kind of did some similar sort of a stuff, and you can see that there was a buy and then it kind of flattened off. They tried again and they failed. And also here, okay, so this is that same behavior where it's like somebody's trying to buy it up and manipulate it, and it's just not going, and then eventually they gave up and it fell through. But when I look at what's happening right now and I compare that to these times and stuff, it just doesn't seem to fit to me. So I think that what's happening is this. Um, their Tether is pumping it. That's why we're staying so high. And they had to pump it all the way to 10K to get the market to pay attention. And now that we're up to 10K, I think that you had a bunch of people FOMO in. Now I'm seeing that most of the volume is still Tether, but it does look like that there was some retail and more regular investors came in on that. So I would not be surprised if we see another move up because of that. Because when we've had things like here, for instance, there was, a stop, like, I want to say it was somewhere around here in Bitcoin. And then there was that day when, like, there was tons of volume on Coinbase. And there was, like, one more peak after that. And then it came down. How do you guys know about 1624 and 0? Where do you learn about this stuff? It's a good question. So the thing is that the single prints, you can backtest that actually, and there is definitely a tendency for weird things to happen there. Like, do you just look at an indicator that would tell you that there's going to be a reversal or that there's a lot of volume somewhere or something like that, and then look at what it does at every price, and you can see that at 16 there tends to be some unusual behavior. But the problem with that edge is that it's not very directional. Like, I can tell you there's going to be weird stuff at 16 and that your probability probably decreases at 16, but it's not enough to tell me if you should for sure take it off or not. Only that if you are coming up to a 16 and you've got like a good winner on you, you should probably take it off. It's same with 24s and same with 10s. Yeah, it isn't exact. You're never going to find a price point that's perfect all the time, but fun stuff tends to happen at those price points. Yeah, totally. And I tell you, it's very much an observational thing. Like, maybe it's one of those sort of confirmation biases sort of a thing. Because like I said, I've never been able to take that and turn that into an actionable signal other than that it's a good place to take profits. But I tell you what, every time I'm looking there, you see weird stuff happen at those prices, especially 16 and even. Like at even, guaranteed. Okay, if we came down and all of a sudden we were selling into 155, you were never, ever, 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 I've never seen it where they just clear 155.0 with 500 and then never trade it again. Like that sort of a thing. It never happens. There is always an iceberg there. Bitcoin, gold, and silver are going to buy new all-time highs by the end. So yeah, so that's where I'm getting with Bitcoin. I do think they could have another push up. But I think that push could be more like 12 to 15. And if that really was retail people getting in, then you've got to be even more cautious than before. But I would still say this tells you that your risk reward is awful right now. Right? This is, other than the fact that Bitcoin is just incredibly unpredictable, you could almost short this. Okay? Your risk reward on the upside just isn't very good right now. And I cannot recommend anybody that's not in to just be buying it. The other thing is there's, so Shalom is saying a couple of things going on here. Like, one, that people are trying to get out of Hong Kong and China. That might be true, but that's hard to prove. Because all we know is that the volume is coming from Tether. We would have to be on the Tether side to know who it is that's actually putting that money in. And again, for all we know, they're not actually putting the money in, and that this money is just coming out of nowhere. And honestly, I just don't understand, if you're a big person, why you would want to use Tether to do that sort of a thing. But I digress. There's no way for us to know where it's coming from. Only that it's mostly from Tether. The other thing is it's because of interest rates, that interest rates are going to go down. So that's kind of a double-edged sword, because there's definitely been some correlation between cryptocurrencies and interest rates. And the easier the money is, the more that the cryptocurrencies want to go up. And part of that is because there's just more money out there to buy up. And part of it is that some people think that it's a hedge against the central bank, things like that. But there's a big problem, because if we really truly go into a risk off environment, I don't think you want to be in Bitcoin. Like if we go into a recession, because who's going to buy it for you at that point? Like all of the big guys are going to have taken their profits or whatever. And there's not going to be any retail people with any money to buy that stuff. They're all going to be thinking about the bills and stuff. So that's again where I'd be cautious. But the thing here is you look at the indicator. I mean, this is well beyond where it's ever been able to go on the indicator right now. So we can only say that it's overbought, and that the risk reward at this point is not very good. And in order for it to continue on, you're going to have to start seeing a lot more transactions in the blockchain, which is a problem, because if you start seeing much of anything more in the blockchain, it's going to be full again. So I still just don't like it. I'm not going to buy it. Just seeing some tweets. Dallas Fed political gridlock is hurting American business interests, and the tariffs and fear of increasing tariffs are not good. It is time we get fair trade, and we need everybody working together for the good of the country. Thank you. We need a deal, and some people seem to be trying to undermine any kind of a deal, and I hate that. Well, and now the other thing about the Treasuries is that we got this thing where Treasuries are just really pushed up. They're really high right now. So we've had a really good, strong trend these past 3 months or so in Treasuries, right? And meanwhile, equities are at all-time highs. So we're saying we need to lower rates. They're pricing in 1 to 3 rate cuts. And equity markets are at all-time highs. I just have a really hard time believing that the Federal Reserve is going to cut rates when we're at all-time highs in the E-mini. I don't think that they're going to do it. So either the Treasuries are too high or the stock market is too high. Now, why would the stock market be running up like this? Why would the stock market be that out of kilter? I mean, the thing is I've totally seen it go the wrong way before and stuff. But, like in December was a head fake, okay? There was other things pushing stocks down in December, and they sold way further than value, essentially, okay? It was undervalued in December, totally. But something like that usually doesn't last as long as this has, So you have a real risk of the Treasuries potentially flipping on us at some point. Like for instance, G20 goes well next week, or this weekend, right? E-minis bust new highs, Treasuries completely fall apart, and if that's really what's driving Bitcoin, then Bitcoin's gonna get slaughtered. Yeah, 5K on the Dow Jones. You should, because we're looking at 50% unemployment. I think you're a little bit too negative. I mean, I need to see some, unless you give some specific actionable info, it's completely useless as far as helping the room make money unless you're just shooting the breeze. That's what Ace is saying. Yeah. I agree with Ace here. It's like, we need to see data that shows us that a particular indicator or measure of the economy says this, and when that happens, there's a certain historical probability of this happening. You know, like that's what I do here in Bitcoin is I say that whenever we get above 150, we are crash imminent in Bitcoin. We have been crash imminent in Bitcoin now for like 2 months, which is unprecedented. So something weird is going on in Bitcoin, and it's impossible for us to know what. But if we don't know what's going on, it's probably better to not touch it. Do we see something like that in the stock market that says that we're going to go down? And cheap money, low rates are the only thing fueling the stock market these days, in my opinion, says JB. If I told you oil was going up, I'm going to be right 100% because I can claim any increase for any time frame. Yeah. So then it kind of turns into, okay, you can buy here and you can sell here, and this is the time that it's able to make it in, because that's the thing is you have to have an entry and an exit and times for your entry and your exit to prove that that you actually had an actionable strategy. So it's not enough just to say that things. Although you're not crazy to think that the E-mini could fall apart here. Certainly seems like it should. I don't know. I think maybe I should have held that first trade, but I don't know, John. What do you think, John? Because you were saying maybe you should take it off at 24. Do you think I did the right thing there? Because I did feel like that it was still going to continue up, but I think I probably would have taken it off at 25.5 if I had held it. I don't think I would have held it all the way. What do you think? Let me type something here. Another thing I should say about Bitcoin. Well, he's saying Shalom's talking about Swift by announcing an all-in move into blockchain and open finance. Oh, okay. So here's another thing that bothers me is that it seems like some of this move up was driven by excitement about cryptocurrencies because of Facebook launching their cryptocurrency. And I do not believe that Facebook going into a cryptocurrency is a reason to buy. I don't think that Bitcoin or that Facebook's service is going to be incredibly popular. And I don't think that there's going to be a whole lot of crossover between them and the rest of the blockchain community. If there was, Facebook is just a competitor that hurts Bitcoin in the long run. So I just don't see why that would be a reason to buy. And if that is why people bought, they may, in a month or two here realize that that was a bad decision. As long as Elon Musk runs his company like he's doing, I don't think so. There are other car makers, but it's kind of a niche and they're still expensive. Oh wait, what was that about? I would trade oil if I had the position, if I had the capital. Back it will begin user acceptance to, I don't know if another Bitcoin futures instrument really makes a difference either. Just buy and hold if it's going up. Are they not making any more of it? But then if they come out with an electric car that costs a nickel. Oh, I see what you're saying. He's the man who reinvented the tunnel and the subway. Yeah, I don't know. I can only tell you what my indicator says. And right now, my indicator for, in terms of being able to predict like if a crash is going to happen next week or not, is not working the way that it has in the past. So that just means hands off. Something's wrong. Something's different. And we don't understand it. We have some theories, but we don't know for sure. And it's probably better to just wait. And you know what? Like, I'm really mad that it's gone up and I haven't been able, that it didn't give me a buy signal. But if it had given me a buy signal and I had bought it, I would be out by now. And it just goes up and sometimes you miss it. But it's, like you said, it's better to preserve your capital. And I tell you what, the when I mean it's inevitable that Bitcoin is going to drop, right? Especially if that transaction value was people moving stuff from the exchanges to the blockchain and not vice versa. Man, if that's what's happening, then you have a bunch of people that are long at the top and have no way to get back in and exit. And that's going to get nasty. I'm just saying, if it goes down, I really don't think that you're going to have enough time to jump out. So you've got to have some way of knowing that you're getting out. Trailing stop is not going to work with Bitcoin. Just saying. I missed your talking at the open, just wondering how your week went without us. Well, so pretty much we did not much of anything. I did write some indicators. I think that those indicators are pretty helpful. Actually, it's telling me to get out here. But I took a trade here because so anytime that I'm seeing this indicator here and it's not quite ready for public consumption, I don't know, maybe I should try selling it. It's not that complicated, but it does a little bit of funkiness. I don't think that there's something else like this out there. But you can see whenever I get too much, and especially if I'm seeing it both in big lots and small lots, that's usually a turning point. So you can see right here, for instance, that we got up there and then we started ranging there because of that. So it's a good signal of a reversal or a stopping point. So if I took that one, and so we did that, but most of all, not really a whole lot happened while I was on vacation. I did get my grass down, but we did not buy enough grass. So I have to finish doing the stairs, and then we're going to order more grass. So I don't think that I will have to work every day on it like I've been doing, but still going to take up my weekends, which is unfortunate. So that, yeah. And I did watch the markets. I learned some interesting things, but overall, it was a pretty boring week. I was just in the middle of nowhere in Oklahoma and just kind of chilled. So, yeah. I don't think that, I heard you have to beat your wife for the grass snapping. No. It's really not her fault because, there was an assumption made about the accuracy of a yard plan that we had that was incorrect. is really what the gist of it is. Let me beta test your indicators. So I have one that I think I can give you, but at least John hasn't had any problem with it. So, and I do think that I want to give that one out to everybody, although we'll see. I'm thinking about it. I think I actually want to make more changes on that one. This one, though, is, I don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't want to be greedy. I'm sitting here thinking maybe I should try selling some of these. If I do sell it, it'd be super fucking cheap. It'll be like $5. All right. But I don't think that there's anything else out there doing this, and it kind of does tell you something kind of interesting. But I'm also kind of concerned that this is one that if it became widespread, that it would stop working. You know what I mean? So, plus I don't understand it very much yet. So now they're really just going up. That was the one that you really could have held, although I don't know. I'm not seeing anything that would have told me that you could have held it. I think that taking the small profit was the correct thing for me at that time, even though there was more in it. I hear Oklahoma is so flat that if your dog runs away, you can watch him for 3 days. It's pretty flat out there, I tell you what. Everybody has a pond in Oklahoma. That was what was weird to me. When I was flying over it and I was looking at the houses, I was like, holy crap. Like, we're outside of Tulsa, right? There's like the city center of Tulsa. There's like there's no suburbia in Tulsa. It goes from city center to countryside. And it's like the urban countryside or something, because everybody has a rural house, big yard, probably a pond in their backyard, right? But they're actually still like densely, relatively populated area, and it just goes on like that forever. And yeah, so it was interesting. I got to see fireflies again. That was nice. It's out there already on almost any footprint chart showing the large lot or small lot details or associated delta. No, this is different. So this has to do with level 2 changes. It's not based on volume. So you can only see it if you have things open in your recording. And I have to reconstruct. I basically have to reconstruct trades too. And there's all sorts of data structures and manipulation that I have to do for that, but it's not something super complicated. And then, it also has to do with the size of them and things like that. So I have not seen anything else quite like that little chart indicator. And I'm telling you, if at least right now in this range bound action, I'm pretty sure that if we ever get into like breakouts, that it's going to change. But right now, if you see that spike, get out. Almost always turns around or pauses. Was there some numbers out there that were pushing us up? I don't know. I'm just kind of looking at this like, there's no real way that I could have known that we were going to get back above the open price. I think that I would have taken 25 half or 26. That still would have been a great profit, but man, I don't know. The market continues to be odd. This might just be the bulls trying to remake the progress that they lost on Friday. So we'll see what happens. So I did not realize it was tracking level 2 changes. Yeah, it's level 2 changes. The other thing is that I got this thing. We'll test this really quick. But I should get going here. It's time to leave now. So I need to go to the DMV. Yes. Yes. So if I close it down and I bring it back. I was having a problem on my laptop where the indicator would not stay. So are they going to make it to 128? You know, there was all those big orders that were looking for like 128.08 and all that sort of stuff. I wonder. The other thing is I have not put this indicator on the DMV on 45th as hell is worth the drive to driver, right? Yeah, I'm actually going to the other one, so yeah. Look, it's not there anymore. It's not there. So for some reason, and I don't get anything on the output. If I come back over here, nothing in my output window. So I don't know why, but it doesn't save the indicator for some reason. So I need to look into that before I can give it to you. Okay. Well, I gotta go. I will see you guys tomorrow. Pretty good day. I made, what did I make? 6 ticks. Oh, you need to get rid of that. There we go. Made, I guess I lost 4 and then I made 6. No, it's not the one in West Valley. It's the one in Salt Lake. Anyways, I have an appointment and I didn't really have any other choices. So, all right. I will catch you guys tomorrow. In the meantime, stay profitable, friends.